It was like a vertical village centered around like frontier technologies and artsy music. So the idea is really to be like a community of communities. The power of community, like the things you can do when like there's even like a small group of people for whatever reason aligned on working on something. Mancat is moving in general. San Francisco is it's the only game in town. We actually had product market fit. And when we stopped last 8 months, we had 70,000 unique visitors. Most of them don't come just once, right? You have an idea in biotech, you need to like do some stem cells or something like that to figure out whether there's something to it. Next day you can get started.
It almost sounds like you guys have built like a technical kibbutz.
We think about it as a beehive or like, you know, like a self-taught university. The idea was always it's a village you don't have to leave.
Most entrepreneurs we have on this podcast, their stories start, in a similar fashion. They became entrepreneurs when they were 12, 13, selling t-shirts or, selling tech. Today, I'm excited to have on the podcast Christian Nagel. Nagel,
yeah.
Nagel, German name. Who else from Germany, but is also based in San Francisco, and we're going to know why in a minute. So why is a Christian story very different? Why did you become an entrepreneur around the age of 14? Tell us why.
So first of all, you're the one saying this is when I became an entrepreneur. It's the first time someone told me this. But yeah, I mean, like I think again, a lot of confidence. So the reason why we talked about this, I guess, because you're French and I speak French, and you asked me where, like, where my French connection coming from. Yeah.
I wouldn't expect someone like you to speak perfect French. We're not going to do the podcast in French, but
I offered it.
So why do you speak French? Tell us.
Yeah. So basically, like when I was like going to school when I was 14, there was this standard like 10-day kind of class trip to France. Like most boys at 14, I was really shit at France. Didn't like in French and subject. Didn't want to go. My parents said, "Christian, you need to go. It's good for learning language and so on and so forth." There was this like organized school trip to like, so I ended up going, and then during the 10 days, I actually enjoyed it a lot. It was I was from the southern German city of Stuttgart, which is like very industrial, the suburbs, very modern, and this area was completely like in the middle of nowhere, and
like if you picture France, it's like in the wine country.
It was the like, so there's this famous, everyone in France knows it, La Vache Charolaise, the supposed to be the best meat in the world, like the Charolaise meat.
Okay.
And so it was this farmland, like rural Europe, very green, very lush, like very like Central European vibes, not Mediterranean vibes, Central European vibes, I would say, and like absolutely beautiful. Like over 200 years, you could see that there's the agriculture has been going on forever, and like so the fields were separated with stone walls, old stone walls that were still intact, and it was like the roads fitted into the thing, and it's like absolutely beautiful. Like I always tell this story, which is extreme, but like it's when I came back and the friends fetched me with the car, and I was driving by a cow and I was hungry. I got water in my mouth because I was getting hungry. I was like wanted to eat this meat. It's like it was just very, very beautiful in many, many aspects. But being 14, I fell in love with a girl, with a French girl. And she then, like, when the bus was leaving, she kind of ran after me and gave me a little sign. Note. It wasn't even that love note. It was saying, bon voyage, bisous.
Have a good trip, kisses.
Sweet yeah. Kiss. And in German, like there's like you don't say like a kiss is a very serious thing, So me not being quite good at French, I understood this as a much stronger signal than it was. And I came back to my parents' house, and I told them that I didn't tell them that I fell in love with the girl. I told them I like it so much, I want to go to France and study in France, go to school in France in Charolles. And they said, well, and I'm willing to organize it all by myself. And then they said, like, well, if you can organize by yourself, fine. I think they just thought I could not organize it.
And that's what I mean as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So because I think a lot of the boys and girls who are listening today, or adults, they probably had a similar story to yours. I don't know if they had parents open enough to say, if you organize it, go. But even if their parents said this, I think 99% just kind of be like, yeah, it's too complicated. And you did it. You actually moved to France.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's like, this is like the entrepreneurial kind of attitude, and actually making it happen. That, like, I think, like, no one ever told me up until this day today, but I totally see your point. I think you're right. It's like,
you had this dream, the crazy dream for a 14-year-old. You did it.
Yeah.
So you moved to France, you learned French, but obviously that's not the end of the story.
So, I mean, it took a year to set it all up. And basically what happened, so this was such a rural area that there was the internat, like the boarding school. It was not a fancy boarding school, but just because people were coming from 50 kilometers around the city, that like there's a school that schools that you couldn't go every day from your home to school. So there was this internat, public, like, of boarding school, like. And so I was covered I spoke with a French teacher, and he kind of knew the school, had a relationship. So I was covered for the week with the boarding school. So I just needed someone for the weekend. And I also got along with other friends. And so then the French teacher.
Wait, you mean those boarding schools? So they don't keep you on weekends?
No, they're not
allowed to stay on weekends.
No. So I had to find someone that keeps you on the weekends. And
man, if it's not hard enough, but okay, you really wanted this to work.
Yeah. And so then I convinced my French teacher to ask the German teacher in France to ask around whether someone wants to like have me over the weekend. And I got along with another boy that was super nice, that became, like, up until today, my best friend, Florian Delaire. And he raised the hand, because his father was also a teacher, and they did it.
Okay.
And then, like, the deal was like, the French school was a bit more rigid, so I could just leave for half a year, and he would come over the holidays, summer holidays, for 6 weeks at our place. And that's how I ended up going to school.
That's how you made it
France,
work.
yeah.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, I think it's like 4 years ago, he told me there were 2 people raising their hands of being volunteering to take me. And the second one was the girl, Benedict.
Well, I guess you missed
I was like,
that
come
one.
on.
Benedict, if
Yeah.
she's listening, well, this could have happened. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's the first funny kind of
Yeah.
inroad to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so tell us a bit more. You go back to Stuttgart as a early young adult, and really quickly you decide to go into real estate.
Not really. I studied literature, and like the thing that I realized was, like, I was living in Berlin at the time. At the age of 18, I moved directly to Berlin. I studied literature, and I realized that, like, there was like this hip area. Berlin back then was very cheap because of the Berlin Wall, still kind of like so. But it started picking up, become hip, and then there was like hip area. The rent would increase, and we would move away to another area. And so there was this phase. I was 20, and like, my all my friends, including myself, we were kind of like looking for this new area. We were all moving towards the new area, which is Neukölln, because it was just much cheaper. You could have like beautiful, like big flats and so on and so forth. And
it's it's kind of a classic gentrification.
Yeah.
Like even in San Francisco, you're looking for something more affordable.
Yeah. And you
just kind of keep moving, keep moving. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing was, because we had all this time, it was somehow like, sometimes join friends for looking at an apartment, although I didn't even need one right now, just out of interest. I don't know why. And I realized what happened is that, like, the broker came in and said, "Oh, look, we've done the new, like, linoleum floor. The walls are all hung up, and like there's these lights in these walls. And it looked ugly. It looked like so, like, horribly renovated. And all we did was look under the linoleum whether the old wood is still there, and then try to sneak whether there's some hole underneath the regips walls to see whether the high ceilings with the stucca is still there. And so basically the stuff they promoted us as great was the first thing we teared down once we moved in. So it's actually like, they spend money, lost time, because it's also very important. How fast can you get the thing rented from, like, I buy it, I rent it, and like, obviously, like, resources, like, to build a product that is actually not what we want. And then you think about it, like 30% of the income, like, and when you're a student, like probably 50% of your disposable income goes to this one product that no one fucking research. No one researches.
You can curse on the podcast.
But I don't want to. I don't. No one researches. And so, and up until the date, it's like, it's still like, still, like, I'm not saying there's no research done, but it's like the amount of research and actually targeting and like building product that people actually need compared to how much they spend. If you think about it, like how much market research goes into like a Mars or Snickers or like a McDonald's burger or whatever, compared to like the biggest spend that everyone has. Like, yeah, it's pretty much still like, like we built it like that for 10 years. It worked. Like basically the idea is like, you have like, I learned this later, like you have like your craftsmen that you have like deals with, contracts, and it needs to be always the same. It's much easier so that like, what you agreed upon because you had like already like five.
Okay.
But anyways, it's like, back then this was just striking me and I found it just like, it's crazy. And then I also knew like Berlin was like incredibly cheap back then, and like having these connections to Paris and like I was like having like a lot of time, like it was such a price discrepancy, and then Berlin is still a powerhouse of economy, so back then it was doing also much better. I was like, there is no way this is gonna stay like that. So I wanted to buy an apartment, and I obviously needed money, and so I told my parents are teacher. I'm not coming from a rich background, but like they had saved a little bit of money. I asked them, can you give me 40,000 euros? So I can buy this apartment. I know it's going to increase in value. Just trust me. And it's like, I live there. It's like, and
so you're fundraising.
Yeah, I was fundraising with my parents. Yeah.
Sure.
So, so they said no. And you're 20, like whatever. And so then every year on Christmas, I told my father how the prices are increasing. And I still had this idea and I was like thinking about it. But I was like, I think a lot of it's like with whom you hang around with. So I was hanging around with like, Berlin alternative artists, musicians, all these kind of people. And so you kind of like, you get influenced a lot by whom you hang around with. So it was at the back of my hand.
So how would you survive? You're a writer?
I was a student.
Student in
studying
literature.
Yeah.
Writing? Not even.
No. Like you study, like you write theses.
You're surrounded by artists.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. Everyone was in Berlin. It's like, there was the vibe back then.
For anyone who knows the Frontier Tower, you're maybe understanding where we're
we're gonna
where the vibe comes from.
And if you don't know it, check it out.
So you see the price going up.
Yeah, and so every day, every year, I tell my dad, okay, well, this we should have done it. Look how much it costs now.
Sure.
And it's like always rub it under his nose, just like. And then at the age of 24, I just like randomly talked to a friend at a party, being like, hey, houses in Leipzig, they are so ridiculous cheap. We should just all move there.
In Leipzig, just how far is it from Berlin?
So Leipzig is 1 hour away from Berlin. It's
1 hour south of Berlin.
Yeah, southeast, I think.
Okay.
And it's like it's like one of the most beautiful cities in Germany. It's like
it wasn't destroyed by like 40,
it wasn't. No.
It was a city part of East Germany, so communist Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
And it wasn't destroyed by like communist architecture.
Yeah, I mean, like so. Not really. I mean, like they built ugly stuff outside, but the city was left intact there, and it wasn't destroyed during the war because it was actually the capital of there was originally capital markets. The German capital markets were there, the stock exchange, and the books like it still has the Leipzig Buchmesse. It's still the biggest book ferry in Europe.
Okay.
And
you saw that the prices of houses over there was just dirt cheap,
ridiculous. Like to the extent. And remember, this was like East Germany, so there was just about like they were learning capitalism. So like when we toured this building, how your American brokers are, the broker, we said like, yeah, we like it, we want to buy it. And the reaction of the broker was, well, like, yeah, you can buy it. There's no one else who wants it. But yeah, are you sure? Like that was literally the reaction.
Yeah.
And so basically, it was like the problem we had back then is it was like even the kind of like. There was already this super cool hipster area, but that was already extremely cheap already. And so then there was like an area that was just empty. It was completely empty. It was super central, but completely empty. The street, like I have photos, like the street looked like a ghost town. So even my artist underground fans told me, Christian, don't go there. No one's going to come. But the house was beautiful, 19th century, like really, really fine. It was a historical monument protected, like quite big, like 20,000 square foot roundabout, but completely run down. And so what we did is we said, okay, well, this time we renovated in a way that actually people like it. So what we did is we bought the house
with your friend,
with a friend, yeah. with Jacob. He's like
This
my
is Jacob.
co-founder.
That's right.
He's my
That's what
co-founder now with Frontier Tower. So like
Jacob was your co-founder at Frontier
Yeah.
Tower,
Yeah.
and
my first business partner ever in my life in Leipzig. And so we what we did is we just put it on like online. We didn't even have the keys yet. We just got we weren't still the owners. We just got the keys under the pretext that we want to go in with an architect to like, do some research and stuff like that. Because in Germany it takes 4 months till you actually like own the building.
Okay.
And so we took these keys and we put it like just to check it out, we put it online. We're just saying like, hey, we're looking for roommates. The first 8 months are free to live there. But after that you pay the normal standard rent. But you need to renovate your own room in the way that you like, and you need to help us a little bit with like the rest. And you need to help us with building up the club because we want to make a club downstairs, the Techno club.
A club downstairs.
Techno club, yeah. And
wait, so how did you raise money to buy this building? Did your dad this time say
it was like we got it from mostly from the banks? It's like
it was like 90%.
Like it was like I think very, very low number.
Okay.
Like very, very low.
Yeah, sure.
And
so you were able to do it with Jacob?
Yeah.
You bought it and you had this idea of if we're going to bring people in this part of town in Leipzig, let's let people stay for 8 months for free and then they have to pay and they're going to have to renovate and help you start a club. In what? If you help people picture, what is it? How do you put a club in?
It was on the ground floor and in the basement.
Okay.
It was in the middle of a residential area. We can come to and so like, you know what happened was there were so many empty houses, and this was like if you renovate it classically, like with like the laminate and the stuff, you pay 1,000 euros per square meter to renovation. So you would never make that money back. But because we said, okay, well, like everyone gets their room as is and just has to paint it, do work a little bit on stucco, redo the wood. Like the renovation was almost for free. So for us, it worked completely fine. And the second bet, I think look, back then, it was the back of the envelope calculation. Oh, we can live for free and each make 1,000 euros a month. Great. And then we take it from there. That was the thinking with that. And ultimately, like what we completely didn't understand back then, what I just learned then, is, but I had a glimpse of it, is that ultimately there was like 50 people living there. And if you have like 50 people, 50, yeah.
Wait, how big is this building?
20,000 square meter. Wow. Square foot, sorry.
2,000 square meter.
Yeah. And so, if you have just 50 people, like, and again, this area, there was not even a coffee next to it. You could not get a coffee. Like, you get to go to petrol station to get one of those worst coffees. That's it. There was no, like, if people come to visit me in Berlin and say, let's have brunch, I said, like, there's no brunch. You can go to the supermarket. But it was central to university, so it was like, the commute was fine. And what I understood back then, and this is like the moment I fully understood it, was after around about half a year. I was saying like there was this cool area where like all the hipsters and artists live, where I thought maybe we should buy there because it was also not that expensive. And after this half a year, I said, hey, and this area is called Blackwitz. So after half a year, I said, hey, to a group of people living there, like, hey, I'm going to Blackwitz to check out some bars there. Do you want to join? And then one guy was like, Blackwitz, I meant to go there all the time. I'm going to join. I was like, what? You're here since 6 months. What do you mean you meant to go there all the time? I was like, yeah, I've never been here. There's so much going on. I don't know why. I've never had a time to go there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, for me to like be so worried about buying this building and being afraid I buy it in the wrong area and thinking I should have bought a more expensive, smaller building maybe in the better area. And then understanding that this person doesn't even go for 6 months to this area because like everything he gets here is enough for him, more than enough.
Yeah.
That it hit me how much you can create when you have like a nice core community that's all hanging out together and like, events and stuff coming in. So there's some new thing coming in and like,
So you're 25 by then?
Yeah.
20,
yeah.
You're a literature student. You're still a student at the time, or?
I was still a student at the time.
You're becoming a full-time real estate operator, agent, community builder?
Yeah. And I mean like, and that's how I got also into real estate because we knew we can fill up this place easily. We filled it up before we were even owner. So like we just bought like you know I would like I didn't have access to capital back then, so I just bought like you know a little bit more. But like you know if I could have would have bought I could have bought I had on my desk I had entire blocks of buildings that I could like entire areas.
And so we get to, it's funny. So if we get, so this is the beginning of your professional career.
Yeah.
And it's something that eventually you end up selling to work full-time in tech.
We never sold it. It's still going.
You still own it.
Yeah. We're never
Incredible.
gonna sell this. We never raised the rent. We never raised a single time the rent. We was like, this was always worked out for us so fine. We never had to raise it. So now it's super cheap for everyone to live there.
And so why did you not stay in real estate? Can you tell us more? So, and then I guess we'll go to Frontier Tower.
I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, like Leipzig really developed really fast. But this was like just like it became like the new Berlin. There was like, you know, New York Times writing about this being the new Berlin, and just became like really hype. And like that's a pretty city, and it went well. And at one moment in real estate, you realize, okay, if I don't buy this building, someone else does. If I don't develop this building, someone else does. And it's like the price I pay to your building when you're selling to me, the lower it is, the better for me. The higher it is, the better for you. There is no collaboration. Like, you know, it's like the more you lose, the more I gain. And it's like ultimately, you know, it's kind of thing of like, well, you know, it makes absolutely no difference. It makes absolutely no difference if I buy this building or someone else does. You know, and it's like, and at one moment it just got boring. And like it was also like, you know, we were still living in the house. So we were like living in the house, being like landlords to the people, being friends, you know, all sorts of private stuff going on, running the Techno club. And so the deal was also you get rent for free if you work 2 days in the Techno club. So you can actually just like,
oh my God, you guys
so
really thought this through.
Yeah, it's like, you know, half thought it through, half kind of like made it up as it goes. But like, and at one moment it's like a big, like, you know, it's like a role conflict, right? Like your roommates, you're collecting the rent, your employee, it's a Techno club. So there was obviously like a lot of wild stuff going on. Like, you know, at one moment just like, it was just exhausting. And I just felt I wanted to do, I think we both felt like we wanted to like move on, do something a bit more intellectual, challenging, and like, you know, see a bit more of the world. And I think back then also we didn't understand what we had there, right? I didn't understand product market fit. I didn't understand, you know, I hadn't had these terms. I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't in the startup world. So we went both separate ways and did our startups. And then, but we kept on in touch, obviously.
Yeah,
and like, you know,
you stayed in Leipzig for your startup?
No. I went back to Berlin. So like with this Techno club, it went really like, it was very famous in Leipzig. And it's not that big of a city. So at one moment I felt like, you know, I rather want to have my privacy in Berlin. So I was like staying more and more with the weekends in Berlin. No one knows me, no one controls me. And like, you know, I don't have to think about my reputation of my club or all these kind of things. So like, yeah. And so
you work you work on your respective startups.
Yeah.
You guys end up exiting or selling your startup 10, 15 years later. I mean, there's a bit.
Yeah. Like some worked out, others didn't, like, you know.
Right.
And then, kept in touch. And always like we're talking about this in like, wow, what a good time, what a crazy time. It was so cool. Because what's also cool about it is like, you know, normally people, they do some work, they become rich, and then they get a club, but then they're 50 and you have a Techno club and you're like, oh, now it's a bit too late, right? So we had it like all together at once. That it was quite cool. And, but we never saw it as this kind of like, wow, that was a really cool idea. We should elaborate. We saw it as this time in the past that was really cool, but now we're doing like serious tech stuff, right? And then like more and more, like at one moment, like I don't know who said it, but it was like, hey, you know what? After all these startups we did, and like I had a venture studio where we also followed other startups, like it was like, you know, we actually had product market fit. You know this, like we actually had proper product market fit. And like, and when we stopped, like, why do you stop? And we didn't develop this idea further.
Is that during a Burning Man trip?
That was during a Burning Man trip, yeah.
Burning Man 2024?
Was it 2024? Yes, it was the one where there was like all this rain.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah. I think it's 2024.
You attended that one.
The first one. Yeah, the first one I was there.
That's the first one and only one.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess you got to go back to live the real one, but
yeah.
But anyway, so you're with Jacob. So he's your.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, you had this product market fit for this community building.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, like the power of community, like the things you can do when like there's even like a small group of people for whatever reason aligned on working on something, right? And it's like, it was like looking back on it, it was a walk in the park. It was easy. It was like, you know, like it's just like everyone does something. It was fun. It's like, and
So how did the idea of how do you go from this to I'm going to buy a 16-story building in the center of San Francisco?
Yeah. So I mean, like, a mixture of thinking and luck, and coincidences, right? I think it's like, so first of all, we were at Burning Man. So then, like, after that we came to San Francisco and like learned a little bit of the situation of San Francisco, right? So like, and like learned just like the real estate, like, I mean, 995 market, like back then, I think it's even still a little bit like that. Most of the buildings are actually empty.
Yeah,
If
you got a
walk
picture
around,
like the Frontier Tower, by the way, is on 945 Market.
995 market, yeah.
955?
995.
995,
Yeah.
sorry. And that market was just a depressing stretch of like empty stores, and I can't even imagine what the offices are like.
Yeah. And a year ago, it was like, I know when you've been last time, like a year ago, it was really like, coming from Europe also, it was pretty shocking, the area, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
it was really like, like really like all of the people hanging like that. It's like tents and everything. It's just like, at the beginning, I was like, oh, Jacob, I can't, like, he discovered the building, so he showed it. He's like, Jacob, are you sure you can go out here and stuff? Actually, if you're around, even back then, it's not violent, so it's like
No.
it's really not dangerous, and like, I never had any incidents. But like, if you're not used to it, then it's like, like, whoa. And like, with all this office vacancy, like, people wouldn't rent a place there, and so it's like, hey, in a way, this is like very similar to Leipzig for whatever, like, political or whatever reason, societal reason, culture reason. There is this situation that like a district that's actually was like super well connected, super relevant, even much more than much more than Leipzig. Actually, super central, right in the center. I mean, our building is right. If you draw like the relevant places, like, it's probably right in the middle.
Yeah.
It's beautifully built out by WeWork, like, and
it's something that WeWork bought the building for $70 million.
So like, WeWork never bought the building. They invested $20 million for tenant improvements, but they just had a rental contract.
Okay. So they operated the building.
Yeah.
And so they literally retrofitted all the 16th floor in WeWork spaces.
Yeah. Apart from 3 floors that they wanted to retrofit later, and then like,
But I guess it was very vacant and they left. Or what was why did this building all of a sudden go for sale?
I mean, so what the way WeWork did it is they compartmentalized every lease contract, and they just put down a $3 million deposit. So when WeWork went down, they just defaulted on a variety. At least that's what I was told. They defaulted on each individual asset without defaulting on the main. So although there was a long-term lease, and like the owner was just filed with nothing, and it went to the bank, and then like to receivership, and we bought it from receivership. It was a highly regulated process. We had like biddings and like bidding wars, and then like, we bought it.
So you and Jacob said, look, we're going to buy this building. You don't even have financing. You make an offer. And by the time you kind of engage with the offer, you think through, okay, let's build a community. We've had 15 years in this tech space.
Yeah, I mean, so parallel to that, Jacob sold his startup before that, and he was driving around. He was like in the Web3 community, and there was this thing called Suzalu, which was, I don't know if you heard about it. It's like organized by Vitalik Buterin, where all these different disciplines kind of met, and like he went to these events and was like just amazed. Like, most people that were at these events, because all of a sudden you have like 6 weeks with the brightest minds from different disciplines, and you like talk, and it's not like a conference where it's all about like here's my card, here's this, which doesn't really work nowadays, I think. But really kind of like thinking, talking, like working on stuff together, like this kind of like very new way of like like learning,
learning together, working together.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. Yeah. And so
it's called
Suzalu, yeah. And so that was a big inspiration. And then like the idea was really like, we thought, okay, like how do we take Leipzig and this, and how do we do something that like nowadays, I'm not interested in techno clubs anymore. It's like it's over. Like,
you're a dad, you got 2 kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so like, what is interesting me now? And what is interesting me now is like tech, and like how can we like the frontier of technologies, and like what does it mean to society, and like how do you build startups, and like all of these topics. This is what is fascinating. So like, of course, we're gonna now create a place that like has that, because like if I find it interesting, probably other people find it interesting as well, and then like we evangelized, around the city. Mostly Jacob was there. I couldn't come that often because, like, I had my kids, and no one knows whether this will happen.
You have a 9-month-old, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then the Frontier Tower is only a year old.
Yeah. So it all happened at the center. Yeah, and so then one thing led to another, and like we made it happen. We bought a building, and
You bought the building. You already had the name, the Frontier Tower.
So back then, no, it was called, our company is still called Berlin House, and we called it Berlin House because what we thought is, like, we can bring this DIY, like, that Berlin is really famous for, like, this kind of like, okay, we have this like spaces that are empty that we just occupy for a while and make something really cool out of it with like no budget at all, right? And that thing we thought, like, okay, if there's anything from our experience we can bring to America and not vice versa, it's that experience. So this is what we wanted to, like, this is why we call it Berlin House, to express that. But then at one moment, like, some guy came to me and said, "Oh, you called Berlin House, like, hey, can we do collaboration? There's a beer garden, I'm sure you love this." And then I realized, okay, I mean, this is our thinking behind it, but people just think some German dudes, and now they call their place like after their city, so it sounded a bit like stupid. And then people started using Frontier Tower automatically, and then we just said, okay, let's call it Frontier Tower. It makes much more sense, and like, yeah.
And it's funny, the name came actually from like the community.
Yeah.
And it's true that when you get in the Frontier Tower, there is that feeling that every floor is independent.
Yeah.
Every floor is, has been a creation of the people who willingly wanted to create it.
Yeah.
So tell us more. So the Frontier, so the Frontier Tower is only a year old.
Yeah.
But it's become a landmark for a lot of deep tech founders in San Francisco, deep tech investors.
Yeah.
I go there once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. You always meet someone you know or someone you enjoy discovering. You guys had the first robots
fights,
UFC fights.
Yeah.
What is the Frontier Tower today? And
so the Frontier Tower, we call it like like the original idea was like a vertical village centered around like frontier technologies and artsy music. So the idea is really to be like a community of communities. So like there's the Frontier Tower community, which is like the whole everything. And then each floor has its dedicated community based around like, a frontier technology or an artsy music or another subject that like, they want to focus on. And that's pretty independently run. So, and the way it works is like they get the space for free. They have to curate it. They have to the floor leads. So each floor has a floor lead or several floor leads or community lead, and like that we selected, that we handpicked. Okay. And then like that are in the industry, right? That have really the domain knowledge, that have the network, that know the people, that we trust, and that are cool people, that are nice people, that are willing to help people, and they run that floor and get it for free. They after a certain time need to hit a certain amount of members, and then they get also 20% of the membership that we collect, and we keep the other 80.
Right. The way you guys make money, or at least keep the building alive, is anyone who's interested by one of those floors or those industries can become a member.
Yeah.
And member gives you access to the building?
It gives you access to the building. It gives you access to the gym. You can do events for members. So you can do like very big events, but like members plus 3 is our policy in that one. So that like there's like, it gives you access to all the events. So the events, like we have like somewhere between 3 to 6 events every day. It's like on different subjects. Like a lot
on any other 16 floors?
On any other 16th floor, we have the second floor that's dedicated event space. On the back of the second floor, there's lots of offices where we do like, I don't know how many hackathons. And
And then you got floor for robotics, longevity, blockchain.
Yeah.
Human flourishing.
Human flourishing, no longer. We're going to rebrand that into the fountain. So that's like longevity and human experience combined.
Yeah. And you got some more artsy one, like you said, music.
Yeah, we've got artsy music floor. There's regularly like events, like concerts, like poetry slams, like anything you would expect. Art exhibitions. And
so you're 1 year in this adventure. Are you happy with what it's become? What do you want it to become ideally a year from now?
Yeah. So we originally had this idea of building this global network society, which we still have, which is like, we built the blueprint here in San Francisco and then expanded to other cities. And we're actually super close from buying, like building in London that like last minute didn't work out. I think it's actually good that it didn't work out, because what we realized is right now, especially if you're interested in tech and frontier technology and where Mancat is moving in general, San Francisco is just
Sure.
just like the place. It's not like Paris and Milan in terms of fashion.
Yeah.
It's just like Paris and Milan combined, and every other city as well combined, where something is happening fashion. So it's like it's the only game in town in the whole world. It's just like as a European, I'd say it, but that's what
It is. I mean,
that's what it is.
just in the US, I think it captures more than 50% of VC money.
Yeah.
And I think the second city is New York.
Yeah.
And it captures 9 times more money than New York. So
Yeah.
if you want this is the place to start to be.
And this is where like all the talent. I mean, like each time I'm in San Francisco, I'm like just my mind is blown. Like and it's like So and basically what we learned is that like actually like we now want to double down on San Francisco, focus on that, expanding on the lab space, on like a lot of hardware, like tooling. There's like needed by
Within the Frontier Tower.
outside also. We're looking for new places. Yeah.
Because one thing that you've developed in this global community is your recent purchase of a
hotel. Yeah.
hotel.
So,
yeah. Because I think you've tried to push this thinking even more than just this vertical village. Okay, it's great that these people have a place to work, but they should also have a place to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was always the idea of the vertical village. Originally, we thought we'd do it in the tower, but then like
sleeping.
Yeah, like with conversion.
Can you do that in San Francisco?
We actually got the permit to convert part of the thing. But
so
then,
you guys could have like taken the last 2 floors or whatever, and make it, hotel.
Yeah, not a hotel, but like a residential place. Yeah, to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we could have thought about group housing with like shared flats, shared rooms,
Sure,
so like
sure.
whatever we would have wanted. Like the city, the permitting was really like fine. But we started realizing we need all of that space, and the place looks so good as it is. Like, why change it? And then like hotels were actually also quite affordable right now, because like tourism has come kind of like has stopped a little bit in San Francisco, classical tourism. And so we felt like, okay, well, maybe it's better to have these two separate in proximity, so that you can go to the hotel and then like 10-minute walk, you're at the tower, and yeah. So and plus, like, to be honest, it would have been more expensive to renovate or convert into because of all the regulations than to buy the hotel. So like, and then we have a building more, so it just made also more sense to do it in that way.
So you guys bought a hotel.
Yeah.
It's not called the Frontier Hotel yet.
No.
Can you share the name?
It's called Superhero Hotel.
Right. Is that a name you came up with?
Yes. We came up with that. Yeah. It's like.
And so if you're an entrepreneur coming to San Francisco, forget the Airbnb, forget the hotel, go straight to Superhero Hotel. You got preferred rates for members, and also for entrepreneurs.
I mean, we only target entrepreneurs. So I think we've got like 4 rooms on booking just to fill the days gaps when like, and then we only book 28 days.
Incredible. So you just put 4 rooms on booking, and the rest is only accessible from your website.
Yeah. And it's like, it's only 28 days. So even if
max 28 days,
max for regulations, unfortunately, we can't do more because otherwise, like, San Francisco is full of regulations. So it's like, if someone
cannot, so if someone wants to say 3 months, at least you can say 20.
You have to move out and move in.
That
you can do it.
Yeah, you can only book 28 days, go somewhere else, come back for 28 days. And
so for example, we run our own residency program, and what we do there to stay compliant, they come for 28 days, we take them on a retreat, and they come back for another 28 days. And like that, it doesn't feel like a disruption. Actually, they like it, and like, we're compliant. But like, for example, if you want to just stay 20 days, you still pay the same price in 28 days. So because we want to incentivize long-term people so they connect and they stay and they hang around, and then like, compared to hotel prices, it's quite cheap. You just pay like $1,950 for like 28 days, which is like, with your own bathroom.
Wait, $950?
$1,900.
Yeah, that's the price I had in mind. Like,
exactly.
$950 in San Francisco. Okay.
Yeah, and that's still like, it's like you have your own private bathroom, your own private room. Like there's cleaning, so it's like compared to a hotel, like cheap.
Compared to, in San Francisco, you'll pay $200 a night, and you have to share the bathroom.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And you have then access to the tower, and you get to know the tower, and like, so it's like, we call it the landing pad. And so, like, you land, you come to the tower, and there's like the community, you experience it, right? They're super open. So it's like, it really has this kind of like, it's not a real hurdle to kind of get to know people and connect, and yeah.
And so you're back in real estate.
Yeah, funny, isn't it?
And you spent a lot of your time in San Francisco running the tower with Abudi, Zeno, and the team.
Yeah. I mean, we're 20 people right now.
Running.
Yeah.
Not including the floor leads.
Not including the floor leads. It's just like, we have like, I think we had like last 8 months, we had 70,000 unique visitors. 70,000, yeah. And that is like, they most of them don't come just once, right? So let's say if they come on average 6 times, you can imagine they kind of roll over, and then the chaos that happens. And like, we're saying yes to a lot of things. We want to help everyone. We want to be as open as possible. Like, like a lot of things happen, and like, that need to be managed. And like, we still want to encourage like people that have the aim of doing something with their lives, striving, being successful entrepreneurs. So the thing needs to be rolling smoothly, right? So it's like, we don't, it's not like this community place. Like, a lot of people think about community, like, people like the kitchen is dirty, everything is dirty, or like, people fight about who has to clean or something like that. All of that is taken care of by like cleaning stuff and stuff, because we want people to focus on like,
So if someone is listening, who comes to you? So is it the deep tech startups that wants an office?
It's So we also rent offices on the second and third floor for startups. So it's like, it's startups that want to
But that's not really the product market fit, or is it? I feel like a lot of it is like members, interesting people. They might already have their office, but they'll, instead of working from a coffee shop one day, they'll work from the...
Yeah, exactly. So that's the big part is the membership. So, and our members really are like, it's really like a nice mix between like first-time entrepreneurs, or like curious to maybe become an entrepreneur, like, and like also like senior founders that like, have maybe their startup, like, work from here, hang out. Not everyone is coming every day. Some use it as a co-working, others use it just to network. So they might just hang out for a couple of hours a week. Depends. Everyone has a bit of a different usage, but like the classical people coming are like entrepreneurs, innovators. We have a lot of like open source coders, people that just like, a lot of people just like love working on tech topics. Like, if you like, we have like tooling that is available from like also, so we have a whole maker space where you get access to tooling. We have like robots that you can play with.
I can be a member, paid my membership fee, and have access to your 3D printers, to your aluminum cutters, to your white lab.
Yeah. So wet lab is like, you have to pay a premium for the biotech lab, just because like, and you need to be introduced to it. But in theory, yes. And it's like the fastest, easiest access you can have. Like, you can come, you have an idea in biotech, you need to like do some stem cells or something like that to figure out whether there's something to it. And next day you can get started. Our floor lead will give you an introduction to the thing, make sure that you understand the tooling, and you can get started. Yeah.
And I'm trying to find like an analogy. I mean, it almost sounds like you guys have built like a technical kibbutz.
Yes, it's a technical kibbutz, or it's like we think about it as a beehive, or like, like a university that is not a university, like, something like that, like a self-taught university. Like,
and you're not taking any equity in those, in those companies that start from there. Yeah, and I feel like that's not the culture.
No, like, I mean, we have a residency program where we take equity. Okay. There's like a dedicated 2 months. We pay for this day. Membership is included. Food is included. We like give them mentors. We make intros. So that is going really well to really help like people, like founders from all over the world, to get to increase their chances of success being in San Francisco and with our program. So this we have, but that's a very dedicated program. Yeah,
that's a very.
So that is clear. And
there's an investment on your part.
Yeah.
The rest is just like, look, this isn't. You paid a membership. This is your house.
Yeah. But people like we leverage this in our residency, for example. It's a very good way. Like, there's so much talent. If you want to hire, like, our portfolio companies, like they profit from it in so many ways. Like access to VC is a big thing. So like the value we create is a lot. I think we're still working on like how to capture it without ruining the community. And I think we create much more value than the membership. That's just like covering our costs, and that's something we're iterating on. We're like seeing which models work. and we're really careful because we don't want to destroy what we built, like, yeah.
There's very much something, there's something to be said when you said, how do you bring something from Europe to the US? Most of the time it is, US innovation coming to Europe.
Yeah.
In a way, our fund is we try to bring European deep tech to the US. You're bringing, obviously you're bringing, you're also bringing European deep tech because you're a lending path, but you've also brought I guess a European way of work, of community to San Francisco. I mean, I guess it's also the most open city to welcome that type of.
Yes, but like I don't know since how long you're in America, but you still remember the time. But like it's funny because like as a European, you come to America and you somehow, because everyone looks similar and like you speak similar, it's have a similar reference point. You think it's the same culture. But if you stay a bit longer, you realize actually it's like, have sometimes like cultural differences, cultural misunderstandings, like, yeah. And I think with we bring a little bit of European vibes.
And then you can feel it once you get in the building.
Yeah.
So you spend your time between Berlin and San Francisco.
Yeah.
So when you come to San Francisco and you work out of Frontier Tower, what do your days look like?
It's a complete tunnel.
Complete what?
The tunnel. It's like I'm landing and I'm telling everyone I'm not going to be really reachable. Like, my whole other life stops and like, and the whole like creative chaos starts. And it's like, it's from everything from like, checking numbers of processes, operational things, to like a lot of meetings, a lot of like, just connections, understanding. Just like in the evening, I love hanging around with like people on the floor, see what they're working on, like, made some friends over the time that I'm happy to see again, like check in what they're working on. They're always working on something new. I knew like this, have some go to people that, like I'm already looking forward to see what like, what their last thoughts are and what they're thinking about things. And like, yeah.
When we're getting to the end, close. What's in store for the Frontier Tower? What should we be expecting? A restaurant? Well, I mean, a lot of that's vertical village. You got people, staying at a hotel.
Yeah.
And then they can work, they can have coffee, they can meet people, they can build, they can.
Yeah.
Where are they eating?
So you're absolutely right. And I think we're gonna sign off. So we have like the ground floor is rented to CDS, a pharmacy store, and we're just about to sign a termination with them. So if this goes live before we have signed, don't mention it. And then we have the ground floor for us, which is another like 8,000 square foot.
So that might become like
we have it is like city facing. It's gonna be the most visible thing. And we'll like as soon as we signed off with them, we'll be making a big call for like suggestions. What can do? Doesn't have to be just one thing.
Yeah.
And like so that's like I think like everyone is so excited about this ground floor. I mean, everyone has been talking to me about this ground floor. I know people will just be absolutely hyped about like doing something there. And like we'll take 1 month or so to select what to do. But yeah, like I would love to see something there with a restaurant. Like,
and I feel that you'll force people to spend more time in the tower, because I think they'll be up there, and then the good thing is it's kind of like a positive flywheel, right? Like if you're gonna open a restaurant, you always have just 16 floors of people hungry.
Yeah. And on the long term, we need a restaurant. Like the idea was always it's a village you don't have to leave.
And the Techno Club. When does the Techno Club come in?
These times are over.
What was the name of the Techno Club in Leipzig?
Ostapotheke.
What does that mean?
So basically, this was like Eastern Pharmacy.
Eastern Pharmacy.
Yeah, and so we found the original 19th century drawings of the architect and learned that it actually was a pharmacist.
No way.
That built this building to become a pharmacy and then upstairs living and so when we saw this, it was this ancient written thing in Ostapotheke, and we thought it's like because like a techno club, so the apotheke aspect is like interesting.
Yeah, you decorate as a
and then like it's also like that kind of like healing of the east. We felt we were doing within our way. So we call it like we said, okay, that's perfect. We go for that name.
Is there no golden egg in the Frontier Tower with regards to like Eastern Pharmacy?
There should be.
Your restaurant should be called Eastern Pharmacy, right? There should be like a German restaurant in that.
Nah. I'd go for French.
French food. How does one get to know the Frontier Tower?
I mean, frontiertower.io is probably like, the first source of information.
Frontier
Tower, one word, frontiertower.io.
You can apply, by the way, you can apply to be a member directly from the tower, from the website.
Yeah. And then otherwise, 995 Market Street in San Francisco downtown, pass by.
For the people who see San Francisco, there's an IKEA. It's literally glued to the IKEA.
Yeah. It's the tallest building in the area.
Christian, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, for your time here in San Francisco.
Big pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you. And we'll see you guys at the Frontier Tower.
See you there.